The ability to achieve the competitive advantage in business is a dream and hope and aspiration of every rising star in business or everyone in business. And what you find great and innovative minds have been doing, they have been looking at strategies like innovation to give them that competitive advantage. So whether they are dealing with new product innovation or new service innovation, they have been able to leverage this strategy to attain the competitive advantage and significantly enhance their business potential to cash flow. The big question you must be asking yourself is innovation only for the selective few, or is innovation for everyone in business? Some believe that innovation, because of the high cost associated with it, only selective few can exploit these strategies to grow and scale their business and cash flow optimize. I want to encourage you to join us in today's program as we do a deep dive and to examine some of these questions that I have asked and so much more as we do that deep dive into habits, innovation, and global business. To join me in this conversation today, I have a number of dynamic personality as usual. I have Shivani and Sinarain. And Shivani Sinarain, she is a project management practitioner with many, many years behind her field. She is also a lecturer and she's a serial entrepreneur. I also have Clement Frank, and Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession. He's a leader, and he's also the brain behind a new book that is going to be out very soon. And we also have Elmore Lopez, and Elmore Lopez, he's a specialist in the cryptocurrency Bitcoin space, and he himself is going to be releasing a new book very soon that's going to help you to understand a whole lot about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. My dear friends, how are you? Welcome to today's program.
Thank
Nice
you.
to be here on a Wednesday morning.
Nice to be here.
Certainly so, certainly so. And I can't wait to do that deep dive into today's topic. I know that this is a pretty interesting topic, one that was highly recommended by my colleague Shivani. So, what I want to do, I want to start off today's program by posing to Shivani a very important question. How important is innovation in today's competitive and global dynamic market?
Thanks, Gary. Now, when we hear in the word innovation, is this something new? Is this a change? And how can we become more innovative? Now, culture will have a lot to play with this, right? Your organizational culture. And how do you promote a sustainable innovation culture? Because innovation, this is how you'll do innovation, is with people, right? People, and to ideate with persons. So to start this conversation, yes, of course, it's a very, very important topic, but culture will play a very big part in this in organizations. How do you have now an innovative culture, or how do you develop an innovative culture in the organization? So you're hearing the word innovation and you're hearing people say, well, we need to become more innovative. We need to become more innovative. I agree, right? But culture must mesh with whatever you want to do as well. And it starts from the top. Obviously, it starts with the person on top, starts with the CEO and whosoever is in charge, as we say, to develop this type of thinking with your staff, with your team, because you can't do things in isolation. So it's the same thing here. Somebody may have an idea and we just come and say, Gary, I want to do this. And you say yes. So it's the same concept for innovation to happen. Culture, what type of culture will promote an innovative thinking or innovative mindset in your organization? You also made a point that is it that innovation is only for persons. You can't scale your business if you don't have money, so therefore you can't be innovative. You are asking that question as well. And of course, that is a conversation to have also, because a lot of times person will see innovation as money. You have to spend money and you don't have it to scale up your business. So that's another part of the conversation as well. But to scale up business, how can we become more innovative? In organizations, also, we need to become more innovation. In life, you want to become more innovative. Elma will come in and talk about the technologies with the new type of how you pay your currency, which is innovation as well. And I know Frank will also come in from a leadership point in terms of how can a leader become more innovative? How can we become more innovative? But it's an entire system, as we see, right? It's an entire system that needs to be implemented for innovation to really, really occur. So I want to give an example, really. In organizations right now, um, let's say you have a restaurant, right? So you have a restaurant and you're serving food. So it's the same product that you are serving, same product that you are serving. And you want now to increase revenue. So how can you now make this product more innovative, as they say? So the example is innovation with market segmentation, right? Innovation with market segmentation, because you have the same product, which is food, and you want to sell to different markets. You'll have your curbside. You will be able to export. Sometimes you package the product now. So it's a restaurant, but you want to package it and sell it and export it. So you have different markets now that you could actually produce your same product for. Now you have to really analyze that, and you might say, well, oh gosh, that's a cost. That is a cost. And it may very well be a cost. And that's where you have to do now the cost benefit analysis, because not everything that you feel you want to do will make sense, right? And this is where the system for innovation must happen. Now, a project management approach for innovation will work here very, 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 very good, because innovation can tie now to one of your special projects, which is transformational or innovation or change management projects or technology projects. And you put it down under the umbrella of a portfolio, and then you can see different elements of that project being achieved. Because in an organization, you just kind of just say, let's do X, and you just see a very minute way of it, and then you would say, well, this innovation is not working. So I'm saying then, for innovation to work, you need to have structures in place, which is a project management framework to do it, so that you could see it from the top, and then you'll be able to implement it. Of course, the innovation project, when you're talking this language, culture must come in here. That might create now a new project, a culture change project that you will have to do in your organization. Now, two techniques that will help us when you are planning out your project for innovation in your organization would be agile and design thinking. Agile practices and design thinking. These are two techniques that will help us to become more innovative, to actually come about with the idea, and to ensure that the idea can work and be feasible, which is part of the agile way of doing it. So to sum up the conversation, really, before you move to the next panelist, innovation must happen in organizations. Otherwise, you're going to be out of business, right? How do you ensure that you become more innovative? You have to look at your product that you are producing if you already have an existing business. So this is two part. I'm talking first, if you have an existing business, how do you make this product now more innovative? And then, of course, you will have to have different strategies if you're now going to start up a startup business, and if it was not scaling up. So if you are scaling up, look at the present product, and then you have to look at market segmentation. Then you will also have to analyze which market you're going to serve. And those can be special projects coming out of those things. So I give the example with the restaurant for that. In education, in higher education, this is what we need to do more of. Or this is a project of mine that I'm working on. I've started it a while now. In terms of, I have a training product, but I want to capitalize global, right? But as well, let's just take one example, one training product. So how do I teach it? I have it brick and mortar. You could come physically into my classroom and I can teach it to you. I take that same training and then I can do it virtual Zoom, like what we're doing here. Then I take that same training and I now make it into an online self-paced learning, which anybody can just bam, and you pay a certain US, bam, small fee, and you get the information. One product that I make three ways. Actually, I could put it into three other ways from that as well. You put it into a book, which is what Frank is doing. So you take information and you make it into a book and you become more knowledge entrepreneur. So innovation practices is taking one product, can't take one product and look at it in about 5 or 6 different ways. And you then will be creating different income streams, all from the same product. I didn't form a new product there, I looked at the processes to make my product better and increase revenue. So innovation with market segmentation is a very important point. Well, how do you know how to do this? We're saying, how do you know how to do this? Would very well be with understanding a project management approach. Now, part of the project management approach, technology. So I couldn't come now and say, I want my same brick and mortar training to go now and put it on a self-paced learning platform. I needed technology to do that. So the technology game can really change or add on things to your product to become more innovative. And that's what we have to think about. So innovation can happen. Yes, it may be a cost. Now, when I analyze it, really and truly, the revenue that I'll be getting back from that one training is tremendous. So I will invest in it. Now I'm investing in the agile way so that I can see a return on investment at different points and not waiting for 3 years to see this. I'm doing it every month and you'll see investments coming back from it. It's called a knowledge entrepreneurially in that way. So innovation, I'll say if you're not being innovative or you're not thinking about this topic, eventually you'll have to close down business. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to scale up. So how do you do it? Start thinking, what is the project management approach to do this? The project will be an innovation project, transformational project, and you start now with all the best practices in project management and portfolio. Come down the road to start implementation. Thanks, Gary. Plenty more to see. So I give the example with higher education and a restaurant business, taking one product and innovating it and making different streams of income.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Shivani, thanks for your share. And I must say, the topic of innovation and global business, it's a very deep subject matter. And of course, this is a subject that can be viewed at from many different standpoints. Before I'm chiming in, I want to say that I love the angle in which you take it from. You look at project, you look at market segmentation, and you look at how innovation can really help to give businesses a competitive advantage. But I just want to lay a couple of groundworks also. Innovation in of itself, it cannot be looked at in a straight line. And I say that against the fact that depending on the economic system in which you're in, that economic system can be either accommodating or non-accommodating of innovation. And let me put just a face to what I'm saying. Innovation in the US is going to be different, perhaps, than innovation in China. Innovation in the US and China is going to be different than innovation in the Caribbean, largely because of the environment that is developed there. I can recall many years ago as I sat on many private sector boards, and we bring leaders from various parts of the world to have discussion on innovations. And just let me share what I have learned is the Caribbean experience when it comes to innovation. In the Caribbean, yes, we have a lot of striving businesses, but what we have seen is that there are many factors that are somewhat stuck up against them. For example, there is this concept of energy cost. Fortunately, within the Caribbean now, we see many of the Caribbean countries, they are now drilling for oil, they are now accessing oil, and they are now finding ways to bring oil to shore. With the ability to successfully do that, that's one problem that they're going to be able to fix in terms of reducing the cost of energy. And we know that energy plays a very pivotal role in the innovation sector, especially when it comes to the manufacturing sector. But until they're able to get past that, that is going to stand out as a major disadvantage to businesses, to Caribbean businesses, to jump on the innovation bandwagon. um, but yes, there are circumstances that they may be able to escape it, because we look at innovation, we need to see it from two standpoints. You have product innovation, which will be capital intensive, and you have service innovation, where you may be able to escape some of the cost in association with innovation. The next concept that we have also seen, sometimes the labor cost tends to be a challenge for small businesses, and innovation in of itself, because when we talk about innovation, uh, even in segmental market segmentation, you find that as you innovate, you may not be able to convert innovation into immediate cash flow, because innovation is not started with production. Innovation is going to start with the research. And Siobhan, you said it, you have to make innovation make sense. And sometimes the cost and time associated with collecting the market intelligence is not a couple of days, it's not a couple of weeks, it's not a couple of months. Sometimes it may take years to really collect the information. And for that company that is going to be borne in the cost of collecting market intelligence and leveraging up leveling market intelligence to make informed business decision, there's going to be a heavy cost associated with that. So that comes now to another point. Where are we going to get the capital from to invest in innovation? In most cases, because of some of the uncertainty associated with innovation, you're going to find certain financial sector, they're not going to invest in that. So that brings to mind now, can we have state sponsors innovation? And I just want to reference some of Canada, because Canada, I can recall many years ago, when they had wanted to move the world or their economy into a particular sector and subsector, what they did to drive innovation, they brought together the wider private sector, because they know there was a knowledge gap. They brought together campuses within Canada and investors and government. So you actually had like four arms on board: government, private sector, campuses, and private equity investors, who came on board and they say, hey, this is the direction we want to go with the country. And we're going to support any business that is going to support the country to move in this particular area to drive innovation. So that's more state sponsored, innovation. That can have a lot of positive trickle down effect depending on how you look at it. Because once the state is involved and you have the right thinking private sector leaders in mind, several things can happen here. Because at this particular stage, you are not necessarily thinking local. Because if even you're going to talk about innovation in agriculture, how to take the raw products and the primary products and up level it into agro processing, you are now thinking, how can we get this into the wider Caribbean? How can we get this into the wider world, because you're looking now at, global market. So state intervention, because the state itself, state sponsors innovation because state has this kind of global connection. It can be a major driving force for innovation. So I just want to bring this perspective because while innovation can set the stage to give many businesses the competitive advantage, I just want us to also see some of the disadvantages, but also some of the solutions that can be tabled to help nurture that culture that you've so eloquently talked about, Shivani, for innovation. But I'm going to pause here for now. I do believe that innovation is the way to go. Companies and nations that are not actively involved in innovation, you are not fully able to control the cost of products and services within your ecosystem because you are just a distributor. And in many cases, because it might be an essential commodity, you have to simply, you know, subdue to whatever cost is attached to that product or service. So innovation really put not only the business in a competitive advantage, the consumer at a competitive advantage, but I think innovation sets the stage to benefit the entire economy. So I do believe it's a great point you would have made. So thanks for that share, Shivani. Always great hearing from you on these, important topic. I want to swing now to Frank, and I would love to hear your take on this from a leadership standpoint before coming across to Elmore. Frank, all to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gary. Um, I want to look at it from a leadership and economic point of view also. And when we look at where our world is moving, and not just moving, but moving at a very rapid pace, what I can say is that here is where leadership and innovation becomes connected, and is done in several ways. The leaders set the vision and they create a safe space for the team or employees to take risks. The leaders inspire and motivate their teams. They provide the resources, remove barriers for innovation. So innovative leaders possess what we consider visionary thinking, open-mindedness, they're risk tolerant, they empower, and they're adaptable. Now, to foster a culture of creativity, innovative leaders should lead by example. They should encourage diverse teams, provide training and development, reward and recognize innovation, and promote cross-functional collaboration. I said that in today's rapidly evolving world, innovation is the lifeblood of organizations striving to stay competitive and relevant. Innovation also drives growth. It enhances products and services and ensures long-term success. However, innovation does not happen in a vacuum. It requires a culture that encourages, a culture that nurtures creativity. Leadership provides and plays a pivotal role in fostering such a culture of creativity. And so what I want to get into is how effective leadership can inspire and can support innovation within an organization, within communities, within the state, and economics. What's the connection between leadership and innovation? they're interconnected in several profound ways, in that they set the vision. So the innovative leaders are responsible for defining the organization's vision and strategic goals. And an innovative leader not only set ambitious objectives, but it also emphasizes the importance of creativity and out of the box thinking in achieving them. Of course, they have to create a safe space. Innovative ideas often involve risk, often involves uncertainty. And so the effective leaders create that safe space where the employees feel comfortable taking the calculated risks without the fear of punitive consequences of punishment. And this encourages experimentation, this encourages creativity. The other aspect is they're inspiring and motivating because great leaders inspire their teams to push boundaries. They inspire the teams to challenge the status quo. And so their enthusiasm and unwavering belief in the importance of innovation motivate employees to explore new ideas and approaches. And with all of that said, they need to provide resources because innovation requires resources, both in terms of time and funding. And leaders who prioritize innovation will allocate the necessary resources to support research, to support development, and experimentation. Barriers have got to be removed. So leaders have to identify and eliminate those bureaucracies, those bureaucratic or cultural barriers that hinder innovation. This may involve like streamlining processes, encouraging cross-functional collaboration, and promoting a culture of openness to new ideas. Let me go back to what Shivani was saying when she said you use one product and you have you package them differently. And for my example, the book that I'm writing is not only going to be a hard copy, but you also have the ebooks, and you also have other innovations for the same book, which will bring, as you rightly said, Shivani, different incomes coming in. And when we talk about innovation, we're not talking about innovation, as I said, in a vacuum. There's so many other variables that come into play. But we need to look especially at the characteristics of leaders or innovative leaders. What sets the innovative leaders apart? What make them different? And some key characteristics are the first one is their visionary thinking. They have this clear vision of the future and the ability to communicate it effectively. So what the innovative leader does is paint a compelling picture of what the organization could achieve through innovation. And of course, they need to be open-minded. Innovative leaders need to be open to diverse perspectives and ideas, recognizing that innovation often arises from different viewpoints. And so they actively seek out input from all levels of the organization. Of course, they need to be risk tolerance, understand that not every idea will succeed, and such be willing to accept failures as part of the innovation process. So what the innovative leader does is to encourage calculated risk taking. And of course, there's empowerment. They empower the team by delegating authority and encouraging autonomy. And this empowers employees to take ownership of their innovative projects. They need to be adaptable and open to change. So they embrace new technologies and the shifts in market. adapting their strategies and approaches accordingly. When we talk about fostering a culture of creativity, it is a collective effort, but it begins with leadership. The first thing is that the innovative leaders need to lead by example. So they need to demonstrate their commitment to creativity by actively participating in brainstorming sessions, sharing those ideas, and encouraging experimentation. Then they need to encourage diverse teams. Diversity in teams leads to a broader range of ideas and perspectives. So innovative leaders should actively promote diversity and inclusion. When they do that, what they're doing is enhancing creativity. They need to provide training and development. Investment in training programs is a must because it nurtures creative thinking and problem solving skills, which are essential. And so, what the leader needs to do is ensure that the employees have access to these resources, reward, and recognition. So, when we recognize and reward innovative contributions, it can be through promotions, it can be through bonuses, or public recognition, because rewards reinforce the importance of creativity. We need to create cross functional collaboration. So you're breaking down the silos and promote collaboration between the different and various departments. Cross functional teams can bring fresh insights and ideas to the table. Let me give you a few case studies. Let's look at Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX. We know that Elon Musk is renowned for his innovative leadership in both Tesla and SpaceX, and he has a clear vision of the future. So he actively seeks out diverse talent. He takes calculated risks, invests heavily in research and development. So his leadership has resulted in groundbreaking innovations in electric vehicles and space exploration. From Microsoft, we have Satya Nadella, who has transformed Microsoft cultures from a rigid top-down approach to one that embraces innovation and creativity. What he does is encourage the employees to experiment. He encourages them to take risks, which will lead to innovations such as Azure and Microsoft Teams. We have Shantanu Narayan of the Adobe systems. And under Narayan's leadership, Adobe has become a leading force in creative software. He promotes a culture of experimentation where the employees are encouraged to explore new ideas and technologies, which results in products like Adobe Creative Cloud. Innovation is not an accident. It is the outcome of a culture that values and encourages creativity. And leadership is a catalyst for creating this culture. Innovative leaders inspire, they empower, they provide the necessary resources for employees to generate those groundbreaking ideas and solutions. So by fostering a creative or a culture of creativity, organizations can stay ahead of the competition. They can adapt to changing markets. They can continue to thrive in an increasingly innovative world. So the effective leadership is not just about managing day-to-day operations. It's about leading the charge toward a more innovative future. And if it was a class, I could have put some questions and some answers, but we can do that when I return. Over to you.
Mute. You're mute.
All right. Yeah, that was definitely long and certainly insightful. On this whole topic of innovation, it can be looked at from so many different standpoints. Uh, what I want to say is that as we look at innovation, we need to always combine research and innovation, because I can reflect on some real cases. Let's take, for example, you might be in a country where you're getting raw product at significantly low prices, and you think that because of this you can up level it into, let us say, some form of agro processing. But that that access and that opportunity doesn't mean that if you innovate along these lines of agro processing, you're going to have the competitive advantage, especially when you look at things from a global market standpoint. And let me just point out why. When it comes to innovation and attaining a competitive advantage in business, the real innovators, they are looking at many different ways to leverage innovation to attain the competitive advantage. For example, there are some countries today that they're outfitted with clean energy grid. So what they have done, they have moved away from fossil fuel, which carries a cost, and they have moved over to what you call a green energy grid. So can you imagine that you now have a factory that is being fully powered by alternative energy? Your cost of energy over a period of time is going to be reduced to almost zero. All right. So that in of itself gives you a financial competitive advantage, especially when you look at this at from the point of production. The next thing that you find, uh, why important plays an important role. The real giants in innovation, they're not going to say, okay, we have the energy competitive advantage. They're going to also be looking at the labor cost competitive advantage. And here is where you have artificial AI is going to come into that industry. I could recall in study, we always talk about keeping abreast of relevant technological development that is going to give you the competitive advantage. So they're going to bring AI into the industry. And guess what? AI is not going to ask you for some time out. AI is not going to ask you for an increase in salary. So you find that AI is going to be working 24 hours, which is going to give you increased productivity, mass production. With mass production, you also have a competitive advantage in so many different ways. So, Shivani, this is a pretty interesting conversation. Can be looked at from so many different standpoints. But I do believe as we look at building strong businesses, strong brand, you cannot look at this building a strong business and strong brand unless you are truly taking into consideration what innovation is all about. And you're right, Shivani, when you say that if you're not keeping abreast of relevant technological development and identifying how you can adopt this or innovate new ones to in terms of innovating your competitive advantage in a highly competitive market, you could be easily squeezed out of the market. A box can be easily built around you, squeeze you in, and push you out of the market because you are just thinking in a one track approach in terms of doing business. So, innovation is key. And Shivani, I really love the points you have made, the points that Frank would have made. Pretty interesting conversation. Um, just before I come to Elmore, I want to emphasize the importance of research and data analytics when it comes to innovation, research and capital cost, and taking the time to understand labor costs and how you can navigate it, and energy cost. And very importantly, is what I'm going to call the capital cost. All of these things can either, once you're able to find the solution to them, it's going to help innovators to have that competitive advantage. If you do not have this, it can put you at a disadvantage when it comes to innovation. Um, I want to now turn to Elmore. I know, Elmore, you play a very dynamic role in the cryptocurrency space. Um, Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in of itself is innovation because what it does, it provides alternative financial instruments that can be used to handle financial transaction. Can you share with us your thoughts on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as it is, um, as it stands as an innovation, and how effective it is, how relevant it is, not only in today's global economy, but perhaps in the future uh, dealing of commerce and trade? All to you, Elmore.
All right, though. Thank you. As I have my consulting firm, and we focus on emerging technologies for innovating businesses to what it's going to be the future of what it is going to be financed, what is going to be the future of the internet, and also, as you just mentioned, the artificial intelligence aspect of it to be able to increase productivity and minimize errors. And so in the Bitcoin space or in the cryptocurrency space, we have a really good example that we are able to look and see it and look at the progress that they have done throughout the past 2 years, and that is the country of El Salvador. This country has done a dramatic turnaround by implementing Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. This is innovation at its highest point. You're turning a whole entire country around from being a third world country with from only having 25% of the population to now incrementing that by just implementing a new innovative feature like cryptocurrency to now they have about 75% of the country in the monetary system because they're able to use a peer to peer network. This changes everything for every business. It changes everything for every individual because now you have a whole entire new ecosystem that is so innovative that you do not have to wait, the amount of time or the amount of days for you to be able to receive funds. If not, it's happening peer to peer and it's happening within seconds. And to be able to see a whole entire country turn their whole entire infrastructure that it was rotten and weak, and they had to literally get rid of their own currency, and they had to implement the dollar in order to be able to keep moving. To seeing them completely de-dollarize their country, completely switch over to this complete new cryptocurrency and flourish at the same time to the point that they have been able to do many many things amongst one of them that is super important for our country, which is to get rid of their debt. So, as far as innovation goes into this space, there is a humongous amount of intrinsic value that comes with this because you are able to hold all the value by the whole entire network and having everyone join the network at once. And I'm not going to say that this happened overnight. So this was obviously took some time because there are still the naysayers in the space. But however, when you look at of the whole entire trajectory from 2021 up to now, you are able to see all of the innovations that have been able to take place just because the leader had the vision to be able to say, hey, I can see this playing out in the future in this manner, and I can see how this whole entire ecosystem really does work. But I think that my people that are perishing and suffering in poverty because they do not have access to the traditional banking system, how can I help my people become innovative and be able to engage in this ecosystem and to be able to witness this firsthand because I've been witnessing this since it first happened and it took place. That happened in 2021 September, which means that right after that there was a bull market that took place, which means that the prices went up. But then we had the bear market that came in for the next past 2 years. Even though they have been able to see the whole entire volatility of the crypto space, which is what a lot of people kind of hang on to just kind of defend their viewpoint, which it makes no sense because when you look at it over time, it's one of the best performing assets ever. And so it is something that to see it play and to see it firsthand and see how the whole entire ecosystem has been able to better a whole entire country. You don't get more innovative than that. You have to really start to look at things it forces you to look at things in a different format once you see the results that engaging into innovation and being a visionary in the space, because this was 2021. You could say that this is the first country that has had a leader that's so visionary that he was willing to take the risk, that it comes with de-dollarizing a whole entire country. And even though their own currency was already doomed, they were able to literally turn this around by being visionary in the space and being able to engage it and to be able to help the whole entire community, engage in it and provide the education necessary for individuals to engage in it, just not just in the peer-to-peer aspect, but to be able to engage in it as being able to become part of the network, to be able to host a node, which is essentially just a computer that is one of the pieces of the network, from getting into the oracles, which it would be considered the non-fungible tokens. And the next big thing in the whole entire cryptocurrency space that it's touching the whole entire traditional market is, and it's something that companies like BlackRock and companies like Fidelity and Grayscale, they are all a unanimous decision that the next stage that is going to take place is to be able to tokenize real world assets. What does this mean, tokenize real world assets? It means that you are going to be able to take your physical products and you're going to be able to create what's called a smart contract, which it will be essentially what you hold today as a title of a property, or as the receipt of you having proof of purchase. And so now all of just imagine everything that's physical, whether if it's a commodity or whether if it's an object like a house, it's going to become tokenized. And this is the very next big excitement from what you hear from these big companies, is to see this happen. And I have been able to see this already take place because I've been in this space for quite a while, and to be able to see the tokenization of real assets, which has already taken place in the real estate space, and I have already witnessed the first two transactions that happened within this space using the tokenization aspect. It is the future, because this has already from I'm talking to you from 2 years ago. This has developed so much that the next stages for tokenization of assets is going to be that you're going to be able to shop for these assets on a metaverse, instead of a metaverse. You will not have to travel to the physical places, because now everything will become digitized, and you'll be able to make the transaction with getting rid of many of the intermediaries, to be able to just go into the peer-to-peer action and make the transaction happen, and be sure that that you're going to uh, save so much money and time, because that's what this new innovation does. Is it saves you a whole bunch of intermediaries, which is all the kind of funds that go along that we have been used to now just having a peer-to-peer and be able to just come to terms with the transaction. And since everything it's run through what's considered a smart contract, which it would be a self-executing contract, that it's going to allow for very minimal amounts of mistakes and very minimal amounts of fraud. Because once that contract is released, that contract it cannot be tweaked, it cannot be changed, it cannot be edited. So this is some of the innovations that I can talk about. I mean, I could go on a little bit longer, but just for the time being, these are some of the innovations that are taking place right now, and that the future, it seems to be uh, definitely leaning over to this whole new entire um, source of technology called the blockchain. Thank you.
Um, Interesting points, and I must say I have seen a lot of conversation around the metaverse, tokenism, and even uh, land acquisition by the metaverse. Um, what has been tabled is that the ability to leverage tokens and some of what you're talking about into the metaverse, it's a new age, it's a real innovation. But of course, as time progresses, we perhaps will do some more talking about that because this type of innovation, I know, hasn't filtered down to the wider part of the Caribbean. So we might be having this conversation, but it's like doing an abstract painting for many. So over a period of time, I'm certain that we can break all of this down to at least help some economies to understand where technology is at, where innovation is at, and how to perhaps catch up or at least ensure you have the information so you can make better business and possibly life decisions. But there's a whole lot that's being articulated in this space. So I want to just give you the encouragement to keep doing what you're doing, to keep bringing information to the public. Thanks for that share, Elmore.
Thank you.
Um, I want to come across to Shivani now. And Elmore, you have said a lot. I want to ask some question, but I know if I ask the question, it's going to it's going to move to another direction. But we will talk. Shivani, you've really made some good points. Again, I want to keep emphasizing that. I think a culture of innovation is necessary for businesses. And on this platform, we talk a lot about, some of the factors that can drive innovation. On this platform, I've always talked about the importance of being market sensitive, market oriented, and market responsive. All of that is a complete representation of innovation. You want to always be certain that you're collecting information about your market. And before you act, before you be responsive, you want to analyze that information so you know that when you're being responsive, you're responding to needs, not what is an assumption of what those needs are. And responding also means that you understand gaps in the market, you understand needs in the market, you understand the need for innovation, you understand the viability if you innovate. And, market intelligence, market research will always be playing a significant role in guiding the pathway to great minds in innovation. So I just want to emphasize this as part of what you're saying. I want to turn it back to you, Shivani, and to really help you to expand on some of the earlier points that you would have made in terms of how important innovation is to business and possibly helping those businesses to globalize. Because what I've seen is that, especially when it comes to production, once an operation, an industry has mastered productivity, and even in the service industry to do today, they start to quickly think global. All right, because it's about increasing market share, increasing profitability, increasing the span of control of the operation. I would love to have your take on that.
Thanks, Gary. Now, as we're saying, innovation is a culture. You have to be able to understand your market properly to grow your market, as what you're saying. And there are many services that you're doing it, and food and beverage in the Caribbean is pretty big for with innovation, as well as you're seeing, right, all across the Caribbean. So, and ideas that keep flowing. So, there are different sectors that are really looking at becoming more innovative. And you mentioned something about governments, could also private sector and everybody getting in different stakeholder
Cons-
management,
yeah.
which needs to happen, right? And I do agree, because you can't be thinking in a little small vacuum, as what you were saying. Frank was talking about innovation can happen in a little small vacuum. It may start with a little idea. Don't get us wrong. We're not saying that, I may have an idea and think it's too small. Anything can evolve, but you need proper networking, as we keep saying here. You need proper networking, right? Networking for this to happen. Now, I want to bring up, how could we get started in this? All of us were saying it. You need to have a culture. Frank was talking about listening to people, getting the ideas from grounds up. That's part of the innovation leader, the innovative leader. But I want to throw in the coaching part for this to happen. So all of this big talk innovation could never happen without people, as we know. It's people, even with AI, even with tech, as emerging technologies that Elma is bringing such great info on. You need people, originally, to set this thing up. Problem solving, right? And then things will happen. So you need to listen to persons first before you bring in any emerging technologies. Because when you bring in emerging technologies, that I have seen, things fail when it did not show you value, and no innovation will happen like that. So my whole take on innovation is to start with the consumer, start with the client, start with the end user first. And I know Elmer will speak like that because he's coming from a tech and see technology failing. Because of that, you don't understand what the client wants. And you produce a product for somebody, and wow, it didn't work. And as we say in my parlance, it didn't work, right? So at the end of the day, we need to really think about it. And I want to throw out the coaching conversation for innovation to happen. Because it is a conversation to have with your staff, with your people, if you're, as what Frank you're saying, in terms of bringing in that type of thinking, that type of leadership, which is the grow model. Now, you have different coaching models, as we keep saying, but the grow model, GROW, is a popular one. It's an easy one. It's one that you could use. You don't have to go and study, some big training to do it. So GROW. G means goals. So you're asking your staff, you're asking your team, you're asking stakeholders. So when you do this little focus group, you're asking people, what are your goals? Now, when you're talking about goals and to really get innovation of great value, you have to look at the entire customer. Sometimes you might just say, right, you want a cup. But why you want a cup? You want a cup in order to put coffee, because when I'm coming to sit down here, I want to drink coffee in a cup that I don't want it to spill, so I want a large cup. So you really understand me as the individual. Not I want a cup just so I want it. I want it because I'm sitting down here talking in the morning with Gary and Frank and Elmer. So I want a nice looking cup, right? So things like that, you must understand the entire customer, which is G. What are your goals? And then R, and you said it with Costa, R is, what is the reality? What is the reality? You understand the reality that we're working in? You have no money, but you want to innovate. That's the reality. I face it all the time in my organization. I haven't been asked all the time. They want me to innovate. They want me to come up with ideas, but I have no money, right? You're not giving me any budgets to do it, but I have to still do it, right? So that's the reality. And then O, you have to talk about different options. And then W is, what is the way forward? Now, it is a strategy that could happen. You don't only have to do it in to form a new product. It can be to improve a process, which is still innovation. Innovation is improving a process as well. And as we go forward, in conversation, we'll talk about the different types of innovation, because there are many different. You don't have to form a new product. It can simply be a new process that you are, the same process, sorry, that you are innovating. So the example, and I think I may have given it already, I can't remember, way back in a previous conversation. We needed to change doors, right? That is what we had to do at one of the sites in facilities management. So I asked people, I said, this is the goal, right? G. And you have to think about everything about the goal around that. Then R is, what is the reality? The reality is you're not going to get money to change your doors. You're not going to get money at this point to change 4 doors. I mean, it sounds small, but that's the reality. So I tell people, okay, so what do you do? Leave the doors like that, or what could we do? Now, I am not telling you what to do. I am not telling you. If I'm the coach, as the leadership coach, the coach and leader, as what Frank will talk about as well, if you have to coach from that way, you are not telling people what to do, right? But you set in the space, as he said, you set in the safe space that this conversation could happen. And will be options. So, the options they came up with, well, we have some doors in one of the buildings that we're not using. Could we swap? Now, I wanted that to happen, right? But I'm not telling them to do that, because if I tell you to do that, it may not happen. You might give me a whole set of stories. So I'll let you believe you give me the idea, which is the options, right? And then W is the way forward. So it is a concept that can be used, and I use it in education quite a lot when you want to develop curriculum. The grow model, understanding the end user, what are the goals? People want to come and study a particular course, they want to learn something new. Do you understand if they are adult learners? Are we creating, you want to put technology for people? Are you now understanding the technology that they're not going to have to spend 10 years to try to understand the tech? Everything's supposed to, the coursework, everything. And this is where you understanding the end user. So for innovation to happen, as you keep saying, Gary, I'm full agreement. It's not a one-off thing. It's a whole system, project management helping me, a process. You also mentioned a word there. It's not linear. This is not linear at all. Innovation cannot be linear. It's a cycle. But the innovation starts with that conversation as well. The grow, I've seen it with being very successful for me and for the environments that have, different clients that I work with, and for the technologies, the emerging technologies to come in. But it is value. But when you want to show value and you don't have a lot of money, a lot of times we don't have the resources. We need to phase it. So I'll take one product, and I know in 3 years' time, this is how the training is going to be, whatever product it is. But I'm giving you a piece of the pie. Right now, every month or every 6 months, you're getting something. I don't have to invest a lot. And then I'll see that and make more money out of it and then invest for the other one. So I'm building the future product for 3 years, but I'm making money in between, which is used in a value-based innovation system for project management. So it's great stuff. It's great stuff, but we need to do it. Yeah, everything
Yep.
can't be in the silo. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Great points again, Shivani. What I will attempt to do here is just to give some perspective to some of what was said. Um, you spoke earlier on, Frank spoke about this, we all spoke about this, the culture of innovation. And very often, as we look at these issues, the culture of innovation, we want to look at it also in depth, all right, and it's in its true context. One of the things that we talk about a lot on this program, or you would hear I talk a lot about on this platform, is what I call the understanding the art and scientific approach to attain the success that you want. And I'm going to attempt to just speak a little bit to that as it relates to the culture of innovation. To really foster in the organization the culture of innovation, you need to have the right leadership mix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do I mean by the term leadership mix? If you have the leader that is going to say, let's take debt to go into innovation, it's not the right leader that you have on your side. Frank spoke earlier on about Elon Musk, and it is important to recognize that one of the reasons that Elon Musk is able to do what he does, it is largely because he understands the culture in which he's operating in and how to leverage that culture. I want to assure you that Elon Musk is not leveraging debt capital into innovation. All right. His leadership mix is saying to him, let's go IPO. because going IPO, it means that now you are a publicly traded company. And when you raise funding as a publicly traded company, it's different than when you raise debt. As a public traded company, you're only paying dividend back on the profit of the organization. So that now becomes part of the culture, because what it does, it provides the innovators, the great minds, to take risk that is not going to necessarily burn their pocket. What it is doing, if they mess up, it affects the thousands or millions of small investors that they have. All right. So because of that culture, so when we talk about a culture of innovation, we want to also see this in financial terms, not only on organization policies and systems, but financial terms. So it's important to understand financial instruments, the right financial instruments, and how to adopt this as part of the culture of innovation to really help to drive the innovative process for the companies. So that's just a little bit that I want to share on that particular point. In terms of financial instruments, there may be other instruments to consider when you want to go down that path to innovation. Just a little bit more on this. And this is why I said innovation in America, China is different to innovation in the Caribbean. Um, in the developed world, you have access to multiple financial instruments that may serve to eliminate some of the risk associated with innovation, at least risk to the innovators. The some of the general partners, the risk may fall on them. All right. And what that leaves the door open for is that the company leaders may say, hey, this is going to be risk associated with what we are doing. For the first year or two, they're not going to be profit, but we guarantee that moving forward based on data, this will be significantly up, the company will be able to make significant amount of profit. So it's all of this you have to look into as you go look at innovation. When you're serious about it, you need to have the right leadership mix on board to help you see through that process. It's not just the innovators, it's the market researchers, the financial market specialists that can really say, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to protect our interests, and this is how we're going to protect the interests of all stakeholders involved. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to leave it on leadership mix and have Frank chime into this before we start to wrap up.
Thanks. Thank you, Gary. With all that is said, business needs innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand how innovation can contribute to your business. And where you can find help to be innovative and how to connect with the right resources. That's why we're here. Um, and I've always said that apart from leadership, you need to have everyone on board, the project specialists, the cryptocurrency guy. We all there to bring whatever our specialities are to make your business more innovative. And innovation basically means coming up with new ways to do things. You can change process or processes or create more effective products and ideas. One of the good things about innovation is it can help you save both time and money. And it's also key to your business developing a competitive advantage and creating a culture of innovative thinking and problem solving. So what is innovation in your business? Your business can be innovative without actually inventing something new. Because innovation can be changing your business model, adapting to changes in the environment to deliver better products or services, and experimenting with marketing. So Resources help your business be innovative. When you build something new and innovative, you want to connect the idea with the right customers and audiences. So, support and assist to help you build to be innovative. We here can do that for you. We can help you to be the best you can in your business. Innovate your business. Innovate your business. We have the resources to help you. And if you click on our links, if you follow us, if you subscribe, um, we have ways and to collaborate with researchers, to collaborate with organizations, and to learn how to develop an innovative strategy. Just join with us, and we can help with that. I had to be short. I have to leave you guys in a few because duty calls. Over to you, Gary.
Yeah, Frank, we're about to wrap up now. Um, okay, back to you, Elmore. Your closing thoughts. You mute, Elmore.
You hear me now?
Mhm.
Hearing
All
you.
right. Yes, thank you. Um, my closing remarks would be that the biggest problem that innovation faces is that at the beginning stages, the lack of understanding thereof, it causes human behavior to object to it and to reject it. That is just human nature. This is the phases that, as humans, when we are adopting something new, we're going to go through, which is we're going to fear first, then we might next come into talking points from invalidating the point, and then we start to seeing the actual progress of it, and we start to become a bit more acceptance, but we are still in that stage of denial. And then, well, ultimately, once the whole entire we start to see the whole entire ecosystem switch over, then it takes place to where if people are willing to adopt, and that is, relatively to the percentage of the individuals that get involved. And so it just to kind of just put that out there, that when innovation does come around and it's really really early on, it's usually never accepted with a silver platter. It is usually rejected, because we already understand that we have these systems that we have been using for so long, and why is there a need for any new systems, for me to be able to do the same job I have been doing for the past however many years we have done it. And so, understanding things like this allows individuals in positions like ours to be visionaries and to be able to dig really around what the subjects are, and to be able to then be able to consult individuals on the information that it is found, because there is so much more happening elsewhere that this might not be current for you. It might be delayed for you for your marketplace, but that is just another reason to allow individuals to call you crazy and to be able to implement something that that individuals are going to succumb to inevitably. And so I really do wish that everyone takes the information that I have provided, and that you do a little bit of digging, and that you research some of the words and some of the systems that I mentioned, so that you can start to recognize that yes, these technologies might not be available in my sector for another 2 to 3 years. However, there is already the systems available, and if I am sure that this is going to be the future, well, I'm going to take the risk and be a visionary and start to implement this. Now, as far as having the whole entire ecosystem adopted, there is always that adoption curve that we have to be aware of, and so therefore we cannot expect for innovation to just take place and take off, with with having the individuals that are the customers in the space have yet to understand the value that is being presented to them into this year at play. I think I wish I still had Montclair on, because he has seen the power of the peer-to-peer system by me being in a complete different country and being able to not use any intermediaries and be able to send him some funds in a flash, and it only cost me 10 cents to do so, versus that if I were to send him in a traditional place, it would have took probably around 7 to 10 days, and there will be a whole lot of cost of fees involved in just sending the small amount of funds over that you're able to do for just a couple of cents, and a very low usage of energy that it would transfer within minutes instead of days. And so to be able to capture things of this sort, and see the value and the power of a complete new ecosystem that we are completely unaware of, and that we might be objecting to it because of the lack thereof, knowledge on, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to take the risk in a new space that we are starting to see that in other parts of the world they have already taken off, and that there is a whole lot of development that has already taken place. It's just not implemented yet. So I want to thank you for your time. Thank you, for your audience, and I hope that you guys really do are able to start to get curious and really start to do a little bit of digging on your own, and you will be surprised. I could tell you from my own research that I have been doing for years in this space. There is definitely a whole lot of things that you will find in this space that it will get you not just excited, but it would allow your vision to take a bold stance, and that way it doesn't matter who wants to call you, that you're way ahead of time, or that you're talking about an innovation that is not taking place yet. No, you are already positioned so that when that does happen, you're going to be the go-to person because you have been visionary enough to take the risk to engage into this new future of technologies and emerging tech. Well, thank you so much for this time, and I hope that everyone's able to take value from this, and you guys as well. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your share, Elmore. Shivani, I'm going to come right back to you for your last thoughts and closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Now, innovation, a beautiful topic, a great topic, and most organizations, if you don't do this, you will not get a competitive advantage. We know a lot of thought process must go on here. It starts with culture, it starts with research. I do agree, research. But my closing point on innovation will be always understand who are you serving. Design thinking is part of the innovation family that helps me to become more innovative, that helps me to manage projects in a much better way, and also agile thinking. So if you want to bring in emergent technologies, or you want to bring in improvements in products, whatever it is, and there are different types of innovation to do it, do not focus on the technology first. First, focus on the end result, which is the people that you're going to serve. Because everything you're doing here in innovation is somebody got to buy it. That's what innovation is. The end result of innovation is who's going to buy it from me. So again, there are so many, and we'll talk so much more in upcoming sessions in terms of the Caribbean perspective, because most of your points that you said, yeah, it's a true thing. And how do you understand the economics of innovation now? And what do we do to really get value? Right? Stakeholder management, different people we ask and get together, let's do the thing, because this is a world that is how it's evolving. Thanks for that, Gary.
Great share, Shivani. And I agree with you. What innovation allows you to do is to become the trendsetters, that become the game changers. It helps you to attain the competitive advantage. But as business leaders, we understand the risk associated with innovation. So, in closing, I want to say this: as you start to think about innovation, it's important to have the right leadership mix on your side. And by leadership mix, at your strategic, tactical, and operational leadership, you need to have the right people, that can give you the right guidance and support. I'm just going to drop a little nugget here. In doing any business, there's going to be risk. But in doing business, when there's risk, there is a concept that we call the aid to trade. Anyone that studied commerce, you would understand the aid to trade. And what the aid does is try to reduce the risk, the exposure. I'm not going to talk about the aid, I'm going to talk about hedge, because when it comes to financial investment, there is what we call hedging and derivatives. Derivatives is a hedge to risk, and there are many types of derivatives. There is traditional derivatives that you can use as a hedge to minimize your risk in relation to investment. And there's also the non-traditional. When you have the right leadership mix on your team, they're going to help you to minimize risk associated with your investment capital. So whether you're taking equity financing or you're taking your personal funding, or you might be lucky enough to have some kind of debt financing that is redirected into some form of innovation, you are thinking how to minimize your risk. So there's derivatives that can be leveraged as risk, leverage as a hedge to risk. As time progresses, we will go deeper into all of these concepts to really help you to understand what is the best way to go about innovation. What if you can go about innovating products and services where you can have that competitive edge? And guess what? Your monies are not exposed to loss and to risk because you understand risk mitigation, specifically here capital risk mitigation. We haven't gone into that today, but those are also some new innovations that as time progresses, we will expand on that. But I want to really thank Shivani. Shivani did think tank today's program for us, and I do believe that is a thought stimulating topic. And kudos to you, my friend. You always come up with innovative talking points. With that being said, I want to thank our listeners from across the world. Today, we are reaching over 50 countries. We also had over 35,000 persons who have subscribed to our two channels. And I want to thank you for that. Again, we are seeing over 70% of those who are looking at the program, you have not yet subscribed to the program for one reason or the other. If you forget to press that subscription button, I want to encourage you to press subscribe. It's free. And I want to say to you that once you're in business on this platform or you're someone who wants to achieve more, we will continue to bring you exciting information that can really help you to leapfrog your business, leapfrog the way you think, and significantly cash flow optimize. So with that being said, I want to thank my team, Elmore, always here to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I know that, yes, you're way ahead of the curve when it comes to this type of knowledge. And when we look at it from a global standpoint, and keep doing what you're doing. Um, Great job. Can't wait to get my hand on that book. I also want to acknowledge Frank. I know he's not here at the moment. Great economist, great leader, and he himself is about to release a new book. And I want to also throw some flowers at Shivani's feet. She's woman, so she represents all women. And being here today, she is a serial entrepreneur. She's a lecturer and always an inspiration to be around. Shivani, can I also say that a book is coming out for you in the near future too?
Of course, yes, yes. A few books.
Awesome. All right, so there we had it, folks. My team, a very dynamic team, and it's always a pleasure working with each and every one of you. And we'll do this again tomorrow. So, with that being said, I want to thank the team for being here. And you guys do continue to have a great rest of the week. Be blessed and see you guys soon.